All right. So we've given people time to get in. I guess we can go ahead and get started. Um, Questions are all over the map. One couple things, housekeeping before we get started on all the questions. Number one, again, I'm gonna say it again. Please don't email me or our moderators or ask um, for us to disclose financials or to things that could result in financials, such as exact testing numbers and things of this nature. We're not allowed to do that through this channel, as that is deemed material. We can do that through press releases, and we will continue to do that as is available. But any material things, the size of contracts, for instance, the number of test kits that have been sold, like exact numbers, things like that, we can't answer in a form such as this, as that violates the disclosure rules of the stock exchange. Second, next week on Monday, I have promised my son to take him camping, and I'm going to do so. So we will reconvene in 2 weeks. Okay, so now on to the news, or on to our questions. So we've got a bunch of questions coming in about AI, and so in general, let me do the COVID ones quickly. People are asking a lot around the exact number of people are trying to calculate the revenue in Q2 is what it amounts to. Is they're asking the exact number of test kits, etc. Again, I cannot speak to that here. Q2 financials will be out. As soon as they're out, everyone gets that information at the same time, and that's the only place it's going to come out. Legally, I can't do anything else. Okay, next, any updates on media production testing? Yes. Okay, one update. There is a delay in the contract not with us, but between the Screen Actors Guild, the unions, and the production companies. So that delay is still ongoing at the moment. So what that means is they are disagreeing on some minor points from what I understand. I don't have any specifics of it. And while they are working out those minor disagreements, the previous contract from last year is to remain in effect. So we're still going. We're still, doing tests. We're still continuing as is until further notice. But I mean, they do intend to keep on testing. This is, like I said, from what I understand, it's minor things that they haven't been able to completely agree upon for the next contract, as these contracts are only 1 year long between these groups. So as soon as they tell us, we'll tell you guys about the parameters of contracts. So that's the update on the media production testing. Everything's still going. We're still signing up groups. We're still doing tests. Still business as usual there. Okay. On to some other general stuff. One question came in: does DM plan to change the company name to Nexology? At the moment, no. That was considered at one point, but then we've got multiple businesses running now, so it doesn't make any sense. The next question was around institutional investors that I'd mentioned we're speaking with and such. The person issuing the question says they assumed there were Canadians, but were there other countries represented? So short answer, just quickly, yes, there were Canadians, and yes, there were other countries represented in that, particularly the United States. And there were 2 people from Europe. involved in that. Okay. Any relationship between DM's Concierge Medical and the new ScreenPro concierge service? Yes. Again, ScreenPro is the working arm, so to speak, of Datametrex when it comes to the COVID testing. They do all the stuff we're not allowed to do as dictated by the exchange. That said, anytime there's a test, there has to be a requisitioning physician for these tests when they are asymptomatic. Concierge Medical provides that portion of it. So they are requisitioning physicians in part for this service. So if you want to get a test done, they're the ones that sign it on the back end to make it legal. So I guess the implication here is, are we involved in that? And the answer is yes. We work hand in glove with ScreenPro. Okay. So let's skip over to some AI questions here. Any update on the Reddit AI that was mentioned back in May? I'm not sure which portion of the Reddit this refers to distinctly, but the team is putting the Reddit portions into the field like right now, as far as Nexus Smart is concerned. In fact, I was talking to the team about that shortly, just last week. And so they'll be testing that portion of it probably later this week, as it's going to go in probably Tuesday, Wednesday. It's my best guess, based on the discussions I was having with the team. So that would be our underparts. Next one. Oh, second. So the next one is regarding YouTubers fighting fake posts and spammers pretending to be them. There's a number of YouTubers who are battling this issue. It seems to be a serious issue like fake news. Apparently, there's a lot of implications of this. And they are looking to filter this from their YouTube channels. Is there a vertical here that DM could take on in some way? Well, we could certainly look into it. As most of this stuff is in the comments, it even makes it easier. So yes, we could definitely take a look at that and see if there's something in there. I will broach this with the team, and we will see what we come up with, to see if there's a business model in there we can take advantage of. Can the video processing tech from the recent acquisition be used for deepfake scan identification? Yes and no. Okay, so it's tangential to deepfake scan. So this stuff is more around movement. Okay, so it's movement based and it's volumetric based. It does recognize. It has all the underpinnings of what is currently the state of the art of deepfake recognition, such as the thermal pieces of the camera and stuff like that. But it's not specifically set up to be a deepfake identifier. So it would be, if we wanted to use this stuff for deepfake identification in a video or something like that, it would have to be built upon. But it has many of the same building blocks as that type of software does. Any news about the MDA COVID and NATO? There's nothing that I'm allowed to talk about right now. I am going to say anecdotally that I am extraordinarily happy with um, our work that is going on with the MDA COVID and with NATO, and I'm very excited about it. In fact, it's one of the most exciting things I get to do with this company. But at the moment, I'm unable to speak of its status other than it makes me extraordinarily happy. Okay, next. All right. Um, any news regarding the drone company? It's the same status as it was. You know, this has taken a while at the TSX, their M&A. I mean, it's stuck right there. So I'm not sure when they're gonna, tell us what we have to do one way or the other. Um, but I mean, it's out of our control at the moment. Everything's been submitted to the regulators, and they have reviewed. They've asked for additional financials from the other side of the fence, and a few other things, and so um, that's where it is. I can't. Unfortunately, it's a lot like working with Health Canada. You just can't make them go any faster than they go. So, bit frustrating, but that's what it is. Any interest in using AI on Reddit meme stocks, as mentioned in May? Yes, there is. There absolutely is. Um, in fact, this is one of the things that was mentioned when we were talking, moving into the financial tech that we're working with now and the cryptocurrency people. This is one of the primary targets, as they're very interested in how small numbers of posters and things like that can swing markets today. Some of the things they've brought up and that we are going to be investigating here are, the GameStop operations that was on the Wall Street Bets Reddit. How does this work? And what can we do, by reading these things early on? Another one that really interests them highly is Elon Musk. Like, and how do you actually, in this case, they would like to know what would be the best prevention for something like Elon Musk when he tweets out Bitcoin goes on a roller coaster ride. um, so these are some of the things that they're actively looking into and exploring, along with all kinds of other indicators um, that could be used to produce a signal for those of you who are in the trading world. Um, for those that are not, and just briefly, the indicators are things you look at to make decisions around purchasing stock, volume, the buy sell, the bid to ask, these type things. For social media, it would be, like sentiment. That's one that's kicked around a lot. And then a signal is it's basically a computer or someone telling you buy now, sell now in these volumes. So those are the things that are being looked into. But yeah, Reddit's a prime target for this one, seeing as what's been done over the past 6 months or so there. Once Medicall, okay, this is a question around Medicall and how the AI fits into it. So once Medicall is fully functioning, will Nexology's AI be mostly focused on the medical side or on the social media side? For Medicall, it's mostly around the medical side and then the app. We're not whether or not we do anything with the social media in there is it would probably be more centered around advertising at that point. As our stuff actually does work with advertisers. In fact, we do a good deal of that with different private sector companies, over the past several years. There's a good case study of that on YouTube. Maybe we can get somebody to link it around the boot company we did this for. Uh, but no, it's mostly what they're thinking is around the medical side, and I don't want to tip our hat just yet as to what they're thinking, because this is basically the secret sauce, and what we're hoping, puts us ahead in the marketplace here on this. On another note, I want to give a quick update on Medicall, on where it's at. We ran our first full demos in-house for the production team and for the product owners, internal stakeholders here. They were very happy at the state of the app, and gave some feedback. We're incorporating a few more pieces there, and in the middle of, to just brand everything and get it moving. So the progress on there is coming on quite nicely. Um, and we like the way it's turning out. So far, so good. Last question. I answered this last week. We'll do it again. Are you okay with us sharing a recording of this for people who cannot attend? I personally don't care. So you can feel free if you like, if you want to share it with a buddy. We should make a note and look into this and just put it on the website. That would just be easier. So okay, so here's some good ones in asking about my personal opinion, which I'm going to give here. Somebody asked, what's the number one reason someone should start investing in DM? This is a good question, and one I get to answer a lot in private conversations. On the number one reason you should start investing in this is that we've got a massive upside right now. Where the AI portions of this are going very well, and they are now really well bankrolled. So that was not the case, last year. So that is the case now. Like we'll be sharing the AI news as soon as we can, like I said, but it makes me very happy, as I said earlier, and that is a good thing. And we now have the bankroll to fulfill a lot of the things we really wanted to do. So that's why I would start now, because if you're going to get it now, because we're going forward with this, and it's going to go forward at a much faster pace. And that it seems would also be my answer. Somebody also asked, why should we be, people asking, why would you stay invested? Well, it's the same answer. It's also the reason I'm here. Like I wouldn't be in this seat doing this job if I didn't think there was a chance to make it work. Right? Personally. When I took over, company was in really, really, really bad shape, and there was generally no reason to try. I mean, how do I phrase it? It wasn't going to be an easy nor comfortable ride. And I knew that. And then so when I talked to the board and everybody else, you're sitting around with the stock at a penny and a half or 2 cents or whatever it was, and $100,000 in the bank. It's like, why would you even try to do this? It's going to be terribly difficult and everything. It's because when I looked at the tech and I looked at what was involved, I saw that it had tremendous potential. I also saw that it was going to be a tremendous and difficult task to get everything back together. And this was going to be measured, not in days, but probably in years. I've done this from a different position a couple times in my career. This one was the worst starting position, so to speak. So if you want it, that's why I'm here. So, because I believe in it. But yeah, the AI is in a really solid position. It's going to be the most solid position we've ever had. And now, again, we're heavily bankrolled compared to that. There was tens of millions of dollars sitting around in cash or cash equivalent right now, which is good. And we're hiring and we're expanding because the um, we have the growth to justify that at the moment. So that's why. So another question is, are there any plans to issue digital dividends in the not so distant future within the next year or two? It's been talked about as of right now. Uh, it's just sitting here. I would say and take this for what it is. It's not, this is no guarantee. Um, I don't, I mean, I don't know. But like I said, we've only discussed it. Uh, but I mean, it's a possibility, right? It's definitely a possibility and it's definitely on the discussion table. I'm not going to comment on the likelihood of such thing in a forum such as this, but it is, it has been discussed and is on the table. How many employees does Datametrex have? I guess that's a worldwide question. So let me talk about full-time employees and then talk about there's contractors too. So let me get a list up. Full-time employees at Datametrics is in the neighborhood of about 35 right now at the moment. That's, between all our different offices. Actually, it's closer to 40. Um, yeah, anyway, I'll have to pull the full list up earlier. On the medical side of the house, we do have a lot of contractors, as they don't require full-time physicians. Uh, doing that, for instance, like requisitioning physicians, they don't work 40 hours a week for us, right? They work 4, if that, stuff like that. So we have a lot more contractors running around like that. Not on the AI side. We do very little contracting on that side. On the COVID side, we do a lot of contracting. Um, as the people that are filling these roles, again, don't work full time. Um, and that's pretty much it for that one. So the another question just came up. They want to know if we're going to rebrand Medicall. There are no plans to rebrand it right now. We can look into that. I mean, there still would be time to, rebrand it and launch it separate. As the claim in the question is that Medicall is a very common company name. Um, I'll have our look. I will have the guys that are responsible for doing that branding and such look into it. If it is too common, we may go ahead and try to see if we can come up with a different name if it's too common and not distinguishable enough. Somebody says the Play Store has a few apps by that name. Okay, good. Again, we will have the people responsible for the branding and the look and feel of the product and the marketing look into that. I appreciate you guys bringing that to my attention. And the Another question that came in general. How do you support a market cap of 70 million as of today? Well, it's the same answer that, well, it's the same answer I gave just a few minutes ago as why you should invest or stay invested. That's number one. Number two, you can look at our numbers. I mean, just go look at our revenue over the past several quarters and then the growth we've had year over year. Um, that's how I support it. Even going back to last year, we did a record year, and then this year's already a record year in the first quarter as far as revenue and money is concerned. And again, like I said, the AI is in a fantastic state. Makes me very happy, and we'll be showing you that as soon as we're allowed to. And now I think for the first time, we may have gotten through all the questions that have came in our allotted time frame, which is good. So I'll leave it open for about another minute, see if anybody has anything. If you got anything that I didn't touch on that you want me to touch on, do it now. Send it to the moderators right now. We got about 2 minutes. If not, then so people will DM buy Screen Pro stock. I can't talk about that here, right? So if we do, you'll see it, you know. Um, and we will see it on the piece. All right, last one, and then we're gonna shut it down. They would like to know if there's a running update. I can tell you there's something in the works there. I can't comment on what it is in this forum. When it becomes material, I will, it'll be coming out in a press release. But there is something moving there. What becomes of it, like I said, we'll release it in a press release so everybody has access to it at the same time. Okay. So my clock is showing 12:30, and I have another call coming in shortly. So thank you everybody for attending. Just one more reminder real quick before my phone rings. I will be gone next week as I am taking my son camping, as I've been promising I would do since COVID, once COVID let up and we could. So I won't be here next Monday. We will be back in the next week. So the next Discord will be on the 26th of July. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. We'll talk to you soon.